Barstool Sports President Dave Portnoy is sharing his views on why President Trump performed so well among young men in the 2024 election. And he sat down with CBS Mornings co-host Tony Dokoupil for an interview that aired Sunday.
What happened to the Democrats? Why did they lose so many young men?
People often think I have the answer. My nutshell is generally they were very anti-normal guys. Like if you, there's
What do you mean normal guys?
Yeah, it's okay.
Are
to
you
be
saying
like,
there's only one way to be a guy?
If that girl's hot, hey, that girl's hot. I want to drink. I want to party. I like frat parties. I like that. That was all bad. Like, and to be honest, the white guy, and this sounds, but was the bad guy. Became the bad guy. And there's a lot of white dudes who are like, well, I'm not the bad guy. Like, what are you getting mad at me for? I wasn't here for colonialism or any of the stuff that you guys are complaining about 200 years ago. Like, what did I do? And even with the Trump stuff, he won the election, and you had a candidate basically calling you a deplorable, or you're a Nazi if you vote for Trump. I don't know if they used that exact word, but it felt like that.
Tony is here now in Studio 57. Incredible interview there. Based off what he told you he feels, why does he seem to resonate more with young conservative males?
Look, I can't get into the minds of all young conservative men in the country, but I have traveled for the last 10 years talking to voters across the political spectrum, and I think a lot of people have been uncomfortable with the move in the culture away from whatever they would describe the 90s or the early 2000s feeling. And I'll give you an example from when I was in the interview. There's some hard questions you have to ask Dave Portnoy. He's controversial for a lot of people. As I was fumbling around as an interviewer in their offices in a big room like this with desks all around, I looked over his shoulder and someone had drawn in chalk, blue chalk, a giant blue Free Willy, let's say, but I'm not talking about the whale. And it was just there, and it was anatomically accurate, and I was like, whew. And I mentioned it. I was like, sorry, this kind of breaks the spell here. And he was like, who drew that? Come on, who drew that? And there was like chuckles around. And it's not all men working there. There's women there, too. And it was like the office had a laugh. That's the office culture of Barstool. At another office, that is an investigation. That is an HR complaint. That is a firing.
Yeah, HR forward.
And I think a lot of people, not only young conservative men, but a lot of people want to live in a world where that can be a joke in an office again and not a 5-alarm fire. Not endorsing it. I'm just saying that that's part of why Barstool works as a site, because it upholds that kind of 90s, early 2000s sense of, all right, it's not for everybody. Someone's offended, but it's a joke.
So Portnoy also spoke with you about what he calls a definitive shift toward anti-Semitism, obviously a much more sensitive topic here. Why did he tell you he's speaking out about
this? So
it's
sensitive, but it's also related, right?
Okay.
Because people cross all sorts of lines. Barstool crosses all sorts of lines. People think Portnoy's and his site and the people on it do things that are sexist, that are racist, that are misogynistic. And now Portnoy wants to draw a line on anti-Semitism and say, hey, hold on, you seem to be coming with a lot more hate than what we were intending in these jokes that we were making. And he admits in the interview that it's difficult to draw that line because it can be faint to some people. Do you remember when the guy made the joke in the run-up to the campaign at a Trump rally about Puerto Rico being a floating island of garbage? It's a direct quote, right? And everyone said it was racist. Well, clearly, other people didn't think so, because Trump then goes on to win a majority of Latino men and almost wins Latino men outright. So there's this... one person's definition of something, racist, anti-Semitic, is not somebody else's, and it's very hard to draw the distinction. He's trying to draw it on anti-Semitism, but he openly admits, hey, I understand, not everyone's going to see that line.
Tony Dokoupil, thank you.
You bet.